Well, first of all, thank you, because everybody has things to do, and you were able to talk to me. So thank you so much for being able to get in touch.
Oh, my pleasure, man. My pleasure.
Okay, so without further ado, if you want, we start with the first question.
Sure.
um, what's your background of investment? Did you always love investing in precious metals? Did you always have information? Your family, maybe your dad liked investing, or is it something that you came with in the past years?
Well, my dad, he pretty much got me into collecting coins at a
Yeah,
young age. I
yeah,
would go to coin shows and coin stores and things like that, and we'd look for certain things he was interested in, and he would buy, sometimes he would buy something for me to put in the collection, and the bug just took me from there. So
yeah,
it's something that I've always been into, but as far as the precious metals goes, it didn't click or make sense to stack the
yeah,
precious metals until last year.
yeah. So it's something that's coming from family, from generations. I guess your grandfather also did it, or what do you think?
Yes,
Yes, really.
yes.
Well, your grandfather had a very good time to go through the precious metals evolving, uh,
Oh, yeah.
because if I'm not mistaken, your grandfather could have bought 1 ounce of gold at a price of $20, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes.
Can you imagine your grandfather buying somewhere to like I don't know 100 ounces of gold and now giving them as a present to you?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy because my grandfather was born in, I want to say it was 1919,
Yeah,
and he was actually in World War II.
yeah,
And so was my great uncle. And of course, yes, you could have gold, but the cost of living back then, you know, you don't make what you make now. So, I mean, gold was still expensive back then. But if he was able to put some of that away back then, the value creation or transferring that wealth to the next generation is
yeah.
just, I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to doing myself.
Yeah, this is something I think about every day. I mean, every time I buy my coins and I unbox them and I hold them in my hand, it's something I think, for example, that I will have a son, maybe a daughter, and in the future they will have my coins and they will remember like, wow, my dad was amazing for thinking like that in the past. Because maybe I don't know. I think for the possibility that in 50 years the price of an ounce of silver will be incredibly high. What do you think about that?
Oh, of course. I mean, you have to just go back. I mean, go back to whenever the United States was taken off the gold standard in 1971.
Yeah,
That essentially took the world off the gold standard. And if you look at the price of gold since then, since that one ordeal took place,
yeah,
it has gone nothing but north. And the way that the banking system around the world, it's I just don't see it going back to a gold standard or anything like that. It's just going to keep going up.
I guess you have friends, people you hang around with, and maybe you have people aside from your family that you talk to them about investing in precious metals. What kind of reaction do you get when you talk about it? I guess you live in America. I'm not sure about that, but I guess you live in the United States. Is that true?
Yes, I live in the United States,
Yeah.
and I don't really talk about it too much with friends or family because I just don't want them. I don't want them knowing what I have,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
That's good thinking.
Sure.
I was thinking about that. First of all, I was thinking about taking out my face in the videos in YouTube. But finally, I feel good about it. I feel good about the fact that I took my face out in the videos for the people to see me, because they get the reaction, the emotion I kind of want to transfer when unboxing or touching the precious metals, you know. But yeah, when I talked to Silver Dragons, he kind of told me the same, you know, because after we made the interview, he told me that he feels kind of weird for the people to know about the precious metals he has. So yeah, I knew that you would feel kind of the same about it. What do you think about buying? Do you feel like it's an investment for you, or do you feel like you're doing something for the future? You told me before that, for example, you want your kids to have it. Which one of the section you will be in? You want it as an investment, or you want to keep it forever?
Well, in my past videos, I've always stated that any gold that I buy, is as far as the full ounce of gold, right? That is never going to leave me. That's something that I'm going to keep. And if it's possible for me to transfer that over to my kids, then yes, absolutely. That is going to be my way of giving back to them, more than just words, if that makes any sense. Because your kids are your legacy. You will live on through your kids, and what you teach them and how you bring them up, and how you show them to make a budget for themselves. See, my kids right now, they're both in college, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that they have no student debt. That way they're a step ahead of most of the college kids in the United States. So I'm doing that for them, and I'm going to also hopefully pass down as much gold and silver to them as possible. Now, will I take some profits on the way up as far as silver? Absolutely. It's no question on that one.
You know, you seem like the kind of guy that I would like to hang around and have a beer with, because you're so cool. You kind of think exactly the same things that I'm projecting in the future, you know. What is it like to buy precious metals in the place you live in? Do you have any physical store to go to, or do you prefer buying on the internet?
I prefer to go buy it locally. Now, in my state, I don't have any type of taxes. None. Zero. No taxes on the buying or selling of bullion. Now, whenever that price reaches, I want to say it's $10,000, then yes, then the dealer or myself has to report the selling of it.
Yeah.
But as far as buying, I do not have to pay any taxes. So I get better deals locally if I buy at my coin shop here in Georgia, and it just makes sense. I don't have to wait on the shipping. I could go in, pick out what I want, and walk out the door with a better deal than I can from the online bullion dealers that are just, they're just making a pretty good buck off of us. But I try to stay local and buy local and build that relationship with him, and he gives me better deals.
Yeah, that's a very good thing to do. It's a thing that not many can do, because, for example, here in Spain, the main stores where you can buy precious metals and they have kind of good prices. The first one is located in Barcelona. Then we have a few in Madrid, and we have two more. One in Seville and one in a city called Valladolid. They are kind of one in an extreme of the country, and it's very difficult, for example, for me to get locally to it. But here I have to buy it on the internet. But definitely, if I would have the occasion to go to a local store, it would be better for me, because I know you can get very good deals. The last video I uploaded it today, and it was about the mistake that I did this year in 2020, for the fact that when prices went high on March and April, I stopped buying. And I consider right now that was a mistake. I mean, I used to buy my coins for about 19 euros per ounce, silver. And when it went to 25 euros and I stopped buying. And I consider right now that was a mistake, because all the money that I should have invested in that moment went away, you know, in stupid things. What did you do in that moment, in March, April? Did you stop buying? Did you continue buying?
I did not stop buying.
Yeah.
What I did was I was extremely heavy or top heavy into silver.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of silver because it was cheap. It was easy to get. The cost on it was extremely low. I was buying silver eagles at $2 over spot here in the United States. And if you would think about that now, like people coming in right now, they're like, there's no way you could get that deal.
Yeah.
But that's what we're paying. So I was loading up on it when it was cheap. So whenever the cough happened and everything shut down here in March, it just didn't make sense to buy silver anymore, because those premiums, they went up. I want to say it was to $10 over spot for a silver eagle. And that's just, I'm not paying that. It's not feasible. It doesn't make sense financially. So I switched over to gold because the premiums on gold was only 2 to 5% over. So it just made more sense. I actually needed more gold in my stack. So I just stacked gold mostly this year.
Yeah. This is an important thing. The importance of having a local store and get into a relationship with the dealer and getting good deals, you know.
Yeah.
Which you prefer most between silver and gold, and why?
If you look at it, okay, so this is the problem that I have. Is I've always collected or been around silver my entire life. So it's a love that I have for the metal itself. But as far as value, wealth retention, it's gold. It's 100% gold. And the reason for that is because you just have to look at the percentages. You have to look at it at a macro level over time. The gains for gold are substantial compared to silver. Now, silver will do great things whenever it moves. Whenever it catches fire, it goes up quick. But it also, whenever it is flat, it falls off quick. So you know, if you're going to buy a bunch of silver, the time to do it is when it's boring, when nobody wants it. That's when you load up on silver. And buying gold, probably even if it's a 10th ounce or a couple grams or whatever a month, it just makes more sense to just keep buying gold. And whenever the prices are low on silver, that's when you load up on silver. And whenever it explodes up, like it did in March, and the premiums were $10 for silver eagles, that's when you sell some of them.
Yeah. What do you think that will happen in the few years that will come? I mean, economically, I think that you can also say that we will have a very big problem.
Oh yeah.
Not only in the United States, but everywhere worldwide. What do you think that will happen with silver prices? I feel like silver is very far away from reaching the potential that it has. I mean, I made a video talking about the fact that it could possibly reach the price of $100. What do you think about that?
Okay. I know. I also made a video about that as well because a lot of people, they get there's these big guys, right? They actually own their own companies, they're mining companies, their hedge funds or whatnot. They make these videos as well, and they talk about how, you know, it's going to go way up, it's going to explode, go to the moon. And could that happen? Sure, absolutely it could. But if it does go way up, if it does go that high, are you really going to be able to take full advantage of that? Because if silver goes that high or gold goes that high, what's the price of everything else going to be? Right now, what we're going through is It's more of a deflationary state, in my opinion. Hyperinflation hasn't kicked in. And a lot of people here in the United States, they get it confused.
Yeah.
They keep saying that the Fed is money printing and creating currency, which it is. It actually is. But all of that money creation that they are creating, it stays inside of the banking system. So until that currency leaves the banking system in some way or other, it's going to be deflationary. You won't get that hyperinflation until the laws are passed and the Fed actually has been given permission to use the money that is on its balance sheet. And that's when you're going to, whenever the Fed distributes that funding to the public, that's when you're going to get your hyperinflation. That's when you're going to see the price of the dollar or the price of the euro or anything like that. That's when you're going to see it just really tank.
You know, the main reason I started getting interested about investing in precious metals is when I watched the Hidden Secrets of Money series of Mike Maloney, and you said exactly the same thing that he said in one of the videos from that series, which I recommend to everybody watching this video. What do you think about other investments? For example, Bitcoin and other stuff. You know, real estate, it's a very known thing to do in the United States, and you have a lot of YouTubers talking about it. Is this the only investment that you do, or do you like learning about other stuff?
No, this is not the only one that I do. People always think that, because that's what I talk about on my channel. They always think that, dude, there's more to the world than just silver and gold. Well, that's all my channel is about. I don't talk about any of my portfolio on my channel.
Yeah.
But I do branch out. I don't want to open up my app that I use, and I don't want to see all green. Or I love seeing all greens, but I want to see that diversification. I don't want to see all reds because I'm just in one thing.
Yeah.
I want to see my portfolio going up and down and making moves throughout that. Now, I do dabble in certain companies, and I like to sometimes swing trade.
The last question, or the last requirement that I would like to make to you is, what kind of tips will you give to people that are going to watch this video? Maybe more for people that are starting, or they are not sure if they want to start this or not. What would you say to them?
I would say, do not put any type of money into this that you are using to pay your normal bills. Put only the type of money into this that you are willing to lose. That's the biggest thing that I would tell people. I have no bills. The only bill that I really have is my home.
Yeah.
That's it. I have no credit cards. I have no debt outside of that. And the money that I use to put into precious metals, I'm willing to let go.
Well, sir, thank you so much for being here in the channel. I don't want to take much more from your time, because in the United States you have many hours to go to reach the night, and I'm sure that you have things to do. Thank you again for being here with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, and I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to speaking to you again anytime.